Well, let's get serious about what's going on in the world, though. You talk about all of these very scary things, but let's talk about the source of their power. The Large Hadron Collider. Inverse reports, the Large Hadron Collider restarts next week. Here's what it's hunting for.
Also, right next to Geneva, by the way. Also right there.
Yep, it is. It's not I want to point something out. I am kidding. I think it's going to be fun that they restart this, but there's a lot of jokey, silly theories about...
They're not silly.
All right, but hold on. You're going to love this one.
Well, you know, Geneva, that really is like the global head.
Oh, for sure,
right?
for sure.
People think it's the UN, but like Geneva really is, like that's the main engine of the United Nations.
Okay, but
it's all there.
Let's first say this.
Yeah, it's all.
The Large Hadron Collider in Geneva is restarting next week. A lot of people think weird stuff is going on. We have this story from August 18th, 2016. This is from The Independent. You can see their little pride symbol next in their logo, even though it's MAGA month. What are they doing? Human sacrifice staged at CERN, home of the God particle. CERN says the ritual could undermine the actual science that goes on at the organization. Now they say a human sacrifice has been staged in the grounds of the European Organization for Nuclear Research, the home of the God particle. A video circulating online shows hooded figures apparently engaging in a ritual staged under a huge statue of a Hindu deity, at the end of which a woman is stabbed. But the footage appears to have been recorded as part of a prank by scientists. Then you get this on Wikipedia. The CERN ritual hoax. Okay, far be it from me to claim it was anything other than a prank, but it reminds me of are you guys watching The Boys?
Mm-mm. I know it. I haven't seen it.
It's the new show on Amazon Prime, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a point at which two characters are arguing, and then one character turns out to be recording. So the other character goes, "You're not supposed to record when we're running lines." And I thought that was hilarious because, like, that's a way out of getting caught. So someone's filming you, like, "Oh, we were acting the whole time." Mm-hmm. And then I see this, and it's like someone posts video footage showing a human sacrifice, and they're like, "Oh, it was a prank. It's just a prank, bro.
Just art.
It's just a prank.
Just art.
We're just doing a.
We got you, buddy. We got you. And but it looks like you stabbed that woman. No, she's not stabbed.
It's a prank.
She's screaming. That's acting.
So the issue is, look, here's what I'm going to say. I have no evidence of anything about what happened with that human sacrifice thing at CERN. But I'm not just going to believe the media when they're like, "It's a prank, bro." Mm-mm. I'm like, okay, well, dude, I don't know. That doesn't debunk anything. You're just saying it's a prank.
Right, interference patterns. So if there's multiple frequencies going on that aren't the same, they interfere with each other, and then you get a diminishment. And if people are vibrating, and there's too many of them, and their vibrations are interfering with each other, that would mean that you need to remove some of the interference.
Well, I think this is what...
I'm sorry, I got to break it down.
I'm talking about producing coherence.
You want to talk about conspiracy theories? Let's talk about conspiracy theories.
What is going on?
All right, check it out. So there's the fluoride conspiracy theory that it calcifies your pineal gland or whatever. I don't know what that means. I guess it does. I don't know. Does it do anything about it? The idea is...
Yes, it does. I've read scientific data that says the pineal gland can calcify, yeah.
And so people often say that pineal gland is like the third eye to help you perceive the spiritual and stuff. Right. And by living in a world where we've neutralized our abilities because of fluoride, we've essentially destroyed our third eye or whatever. And so there's that idea. And then this was a funny one. The double slit experiment, right?
Right.
You guys know about the double slit experiment?
Yeah.
You don't? Let me explain it. So if you take a big sheet of metal and then you behind it, you put a big target board. If you fire off a bunch of shotgun blasts at that sheet of metal with a single slit through it, when you go behind it, what will you see on the target board? A straight line of pellets or buckshot or whatever from the shotgun. So the plate shields everything but that slit. If you put two slits, what would you expect to see? Two straight lines right behind it. They did this with electrons. Oh, yeah. Through the single slit, they got what's called a particle pattern, meaning a straight line of electrons hit the back sensor. When they used the double slit, they got an interference pattern suggesting waves, which is more like water. Hippies then went on to be like, whoa, that proves that the observer changes reality. And it's like, well, no, it's like the method by which we measured it changed wave function collapse. So it doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot, but a lot of people believe the double slit experiment proves that the observer plays a role in when reality collapses to a single point. That is, there could be an infinite number of universes, and that you as an observer observing something determine when it collapses to a single position as opposed to a superposition. To oversimplify it again, your observation manipulates reality and creates it. If that is true, then the conspiracy theory goes, there are too many people on the planet. And all of their observations are interfering with each other, creating a chaotic world, which results in a Donald Trump presidency. So the conspiracy theory is global elites want to cull as many people as possible, not because of overpopulation, but to diminish the amount of observers who are affecting reality. I think it's all magic talk, mumbo jumbo, and might as well just be a science fiction novel.
But it is happening
fun, right?
through corporate media, where they're giving us a distortion of information through that. It's like every time you read anything, it's.
I think what's happening in the double split, you got most of it right, but I think there's something about it was when they had two slits, if they fired the electrons through and no one was watching, they would come back later and they'd find two lines. But if they record it, and I could be getting it backwards.
No, you're
then
right,
they find the interference pattern. It's the other way around.
When they measured which slit the electrons were going through, they
went through one or the other.
Right. They got a particle pattern.
When they didn't measure it, they went through what looked
all
like
of
both.
them. It went through all and created a wave pattern. So that's when they were like, wow, the act of measuring which one it went through changed wave function collapse.
So too much observation is creating too stagnant of a reality.
Is the conspiracy theory. In reality, there's a much simpler explanation. Imagine there is so I'm sorry for all the hippies out there who believe in the double slit experiment. I'm going to debunk it for you. Or not debunk it, but cast doubt.
Well, I've always thought that it would that the simpler explanation would be it has something to do with the function of the measuring.
Well, exactly. So here's the point. So imagine there is a table and an ant is walking across the table. And you are like, I wonder how far that ant has walked. So you take a ruler and slam it on the table, and then the ant turns left, and you go, oh, the act of observing the ant changed the direction. I can control ants with my mind. And you're like, no, dude, you put a ruler next to it and it got scared and ran away. Whatever you did to monitor the electron interfered with its function and changed what was going to happen. That's the simple answer.
Right.
A lot of the hippy-dippy people are like, it means like when you look at it with your own eyes, it changes.
But
and
it does indicate that the observation tool can interfere with behavior, and wondering, we are observation tools. Are we inadvertently interfering with reality just by watching it? Like, no. Is that why meditation is so valuable? Because you remove yourself from the observer.
But that is not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that when you slam a ruler next to an ant, you create a physical disturbance, and the ant will change its behavior.
Yeah, I think the physical disturbance of the observer is undetectable at this stage.
It is not the fact that a human eyeball is looking at a machine measuring an electron. It's that you are injecting something to the point where the electron is, causing it to physically interact.
Mm-hmm. I bet when you're thinking about something, you're doing that too.
I don't believe that.
I don't think that.
But far be it from me. I don't know.
But this is why let's talk about meditation. Like, I mean, Twitter. I don't know if you guys feel it, but I get agitated when I get on there. Not always. Sometimes I'm so agitated I don't realize I'm agitated.
Dude. Well, I mean,
everyone opens Twitter and gets angry.
That's psychology.
Have you ever meditated for like 20 minutes and come out like a placid lake?
Well, it's nice to just get all the noise out for sure. I mean, you have to do it.
And is it like if we don't meditate, they're coming for your thoughts?
I don't know if what I'm doing is meditating, but I'm trying to stay away from the phone and turn off the TVs. Well, I don't own a TV.
So what is it? It's either they're going to try and reduce the population by making us have less kids, or we're all going to start meditating and everyone's going to chill.
We're all going to go to the metaverse.
So think about this. If the observation thing and the meditations thing is real, that means prayer is real.
Mm-hmm. Prayer is for sure real.
And that means the more people who believe in this and pray towards it and focus on it, the more real it becomes.
Prayer seems to have a function. It's like dropping a pebble in a lake. If you pray once and you think healthy, you pray that, and then the pebble drops, then you have no thought, and the ripples will go out and things will become healthy. But if you keep thinking healthy, 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 it's like dropping a lot of pebbles and it creates interference, and you don't get the effect that you intend.
Didn't they do a study that found that people who are prayed for often recovered better or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah, I was reading some scientific study a while ago. I could be wrong though, but it sounds like you read it.
I don't have the details on me right now, but just stories like that. And studies like that, and just seeing the power of it in my life, seeing the power of it in my career, politics. I undoubtedly, right, and with unreservedly believe in the power of prayer. And I've been teaching it to my children as just part. We make it part of our daily life. We do it before we eat. We do it before we go to bed. We sit. We pray the rosary. Right. That's what we do. Right. And it's not something where I'm like, screaming at them, you got that word wrong or something. Like, you make it part of life.
Yeah. And it works in the opposite direction too for doom. Like in the town that I've been writing about for the next book, although it's very religious, there's a lot of people they're deeply connected right to the Civil War, and the doom has never left this town. And like,
yes.
It's just one thing after another. it's almost like they're manifesting it. I don't think they are, but it's, they're praying, and there's people there who are deeply religious, but the younger generation right now is so filled with doom. I mean, they're completely hopeless. And it's like the town is inescapable. It seems like a metaphor for the country at large, perhaps for that age group. But it's scary.
If you search on the internet, you can find sources telling you anything you want to hear.
It's pretty true.
It's the real challenge.
Absolutely.
I found studies saying it does help, and I found studies saying it doesn't help.
Have you guys heard of Dr. Masaru Emoto? He did a study of human consciousness on water. He'd focus prayer on water and then measure the molecular structure of the water, and you'd see different patterns depending on the energy he was putting into it. And they'd be like, no, scientific method, prove it. Do it a million times and then show that there's but he'd get different responses when he would do it. Right. So it was impossible to prove with the scientific method.
I think it disproves it.
It disproves it as per the scientific method, but that's not the only form of science. It's just one of the best ones we have right now.
If he can't recreate the molecular structure through thought, then he's not doing anything.
According to scientific method, he's not. But it does seem to be happening. He just can't explain it necessarily.
It doesn't seem to be happening.
Yeah,
if you
cool.
So this is a guy, he took water and then he prayed on it, and he would focus on a word like anger or pain, and then he would take a look at the molecular structures and find patterns emerging, but he couldn't recreate any of the patterns, so it's just random noise. For all we know, it's just the water hit other water and then shuffled into a pattern. Then he prayed and went, I must have done that. It's like, well, you couldn't recreate it, so you clearly didn't.
Yeah, it's not recreatable. That's the thing about the scientific method, though, is it's like recreate it or get out. And sometimes things aren't recreatable. They just happen. They call them miracles sometimes in the religious sense. But I think the scientific method, we created it. As it's a newer form of science, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the final form of science. I think eventually we'll figure out there's more to what's going on than the hard matter that we perceive.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.